It turns out he was explaining to me that, of course, it was communist until the mid '90s, and he left there because the economy was so bad, and was in, I guess, got to Pittsburgh. Actually, I think they went in. I don't remember the whole story, but I said, I'm going to do a little research on the internet, and when I come back the next time to get a pizza, I'm going to impress you with my knowledge of Albania. In Albania, what I've learned, and I want to share this with you because I just didn't know much about it. First of all, it's right across, the Adriatic Sea, right across from Italy. So they know how to make pizza. They're right there where pizza was invented, pretty much right across the water. And there are actually about 3 million Albanians living in Albania, and somewhere between 6 million and 9 million Albanians live outside of Albania. In other words, fewer Albanians live in Albania than outside of Albania. In Albania, they have these little bunkers that the dictator he was paranoid or whatever. So there's over 750,000 bunkers. You probably see about 3 or 4 per kilometer in Albania throughout everywhere. They're almost impossible to get rid of. They're just solid bunkers, difficult to destroy. And when an Albanian nods their head, it means no. And when they shake their head, it means yes. And the people that live in Albania don't call it Albania. They call it something else like Shipqui or something. I can't remember the name of it. I have to go back and brush up. So anyway, I'm rehearsing because when I go in there, I'm hoping I can impress them. I think the money they use is called lek, L-E-K, and the language they speak, Albanian, is much different than other European-based languages. It doesn't align with the types of sounds that other European languages have. It's very unique in that way. So I went for a pizza and I came out with an education. It really kind of, when I don't know something, when somebody says to me, I'm from Albania, I couldn't even think what the capital of Albania was, which, by the way, is Tirana. So since I didn't know it, I figure a lot of you may not know it, and who knows, it may show up in a trivia question next week, and everybody's going to think you're really smart, because you are really smart. All right, let me just step around so I can see what's going on. Albania was part of the Warsaw Pact. There we go. A lot of Albanians consider Kosovo to be basically Albania. So Albanians and Kosovo really like each other. And let's take a look here. What's going on? Looks like a couple contributions have come in. Let me give a couple shout outs. Samarth Bhatnagar has contributed 40 rupees. Thank you, Samarth. Malcolm Maxwell. I almost said Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm Maxwell's contributed 5 Canadian dollars. Thank you, Malcolm. Hello to David Cribb. He's moderating today, and I don't see David moderating too often, so it's always good to see him in there, and I like to see that rotation of moderators, keeping everything civil in the chat. My buddy Austin Davert hanging out with us. Hey, Austin. I'm going to be visiting Austin in person. I can't wait for that. I'll be in Michigan around Memorial Day. Is it Memorial Day? And I think Austin and I need to go for a pizza. Find me a good pizza place, especially if it's run by Albanians. I'll be there. All the food in Michigan is good. You can't go wrong. Are you going to call Indian scammers? I love those videos. It's always better when the Indian scammers call me because they don't expect it, you know? Bo Bronner says, hi from Denmark. Hi, Bo. Gabriel Martinau says, hi, Carrie. 24 Mr. Dave says, greetings from the Czech Republic. Technology Nerd 18 has joined us. He's also a moderator. Welcome in. Dennis says, hello from the Netherlands. Irjan Dalipi says, Genova, Italy here. Genova? Not quite sure how you pronounce it. Dion Cross says, hi from Newfoundland. Stunley Sands says, greetings from Holland. Oh, my wife loves tulips, man. And they got tulips in Holland. That's a serious tulip town. Tiago Guimarães, I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. Hello from Portugal. If I'm butchering your name, I'm sorry. You need a name like Fred Smith. Is there a Fred Smith? I can pronounce that one. John Babcock says hello from London, Ontario, Canada. And Dakota Barron says hello from Kentucky. Philip Moss has an issue with moderators. You know, the problem, Philip, unfortunately, is we live in a time where there's this anonymity that gives cowards a feeling of invincibility. And they tend to create an unnecessary distraction in the chat room, which takes away from my videos. And so my moderators aren't there to harass anybody. They're just there to help keep everything civil, because I cannot do everything on camera and watch the chat room. And, you know, these moderators, they're donating their time with the best of intentions. And so sometimes somebody thinks something is funny that somebody else might find offensive, and there can be a little bit of an issue there that needs to be resolved. But for the most part, the moderators do an awesome job. Every moderator that you see in the chat is handpicked by me. And if I find that any particular moderator is being overbearing, I certainly let them know. And if they continue to do it, they won't be a moderator much longer. So the rules apply equally to everybody, I assure you. David Legg says, hi from Escondido. Hey, David, you know, I lived for a while in San Marcos, which is very close to Escondido and Oceanside and Vista. And my brother lives in Escondido, actually. So I know the area quite well. There used to be a restaurant I liked to go to called the Boll Weevil. And they would serve all the food on paper plates and bring out like this tray of pickles and stuff that we were waiting in. And it was just plastic knives and plastic forks, but it was really, really good food. Non-pretentious, you know. It's long since gone as far as I know, but that was San Marcos Boulevard in the 78. Bob Barnes has contributed £5. He says, here's some money for your channel and you, Carrie. Well, thank you, Bob. Thanks for your contribution. Elton Hoxha says, hi from Kosovo. All right, Elton. What can you tell me about Albania? They're your brothers, right? Albania, Kosovo. Bill Leatherland, another moderator and a good friend and huge supporter of my channel. I don't think anybody has shown more support than Bill Leatherland. So I always am all smiles when I see Bill. He is not only a super guy, he's a very generous man, and so I always want to give him a shout out when I see him. Brandon45 says hi from Syracuse, New York. Edward1436 says hello from Essex in the UK. Lance McKay says hello. Eddie Casanova says hello. Ben Fitzpatrick says greetings from Louisville, Kentucky. Ryan Mead says, can I have a shout out? I think I just did that. Gabriel Martineau says, you missed Super Chat from me, $2. Oh, I'm sorry, Gabriel, if I missed it. My apologies. Thank you. What remote software do you use? I use TeamViewer, TeamViewer, and I also use Instant House Call. And you might just check out both of those products. They both have trials and see if either one meets your needs. Now, for those of you just joining, sorry, let's get a couple more shout outs. Lorna Edgar says hello from Scotland. Randall Pro 2 says hello from Estonia. Jakey Pierce, can I have a shout out? Yes, you can. Carrie, what do you think about the Ryzen 5 1600? I like it. It impressed me. TeamViewer has been banned by some UK ISPs. Well, then definitely try Instant House Call. Cheers from Fredericton, New Brunswick in Canada, where it's been like negative 20 Fahrenheit or negative 38 Celsius with the wind chill. Oriana de Miola says hello from Morocco. Darius Vinsakas says hello from Lithuania. Thomas Reyes is in Texas. El Matamor is in New Jersey. Eric Vaughn says he misses Lyle. Oh, Lyle's hanging around. You know what? I got this great picture of Lyle. This is great. I will show you something about Lyle that is just absolutely hilarious. Every dog's got a unique personality, and Lyle's thing is he thinks he's being sneaky because he'll watch you without moving his head. So he does a lot of the sideways kind of, I'm not looking at you, and you can clearly see his eyes are, he's clearly looking. He thinks he's being clever, and it's the funniest thing because of just how often he does it. So I got a picture of him doing it here, as you can see. There he is, giving me the look. And, you know, it's funny because he was laying on the bed the other day. And let's see if I can flip this over. And this is, I just love this. Just watch his eyes. Watch the eyes. There we go. Watch the eyes. Head does not move. Just the eyes. Just. He's not looking. I'm not looking. Not looking at you. And I'm just cracking myself up. And then eventually he just gets really sick of me being in his face. He's like, you know, dude, you're in my face. And then he just lays back. Anyway, that's hilarious. So for those of you that missing Lyle, there's your Lyle fix. He's a goofball. You know, he was a rescue. They wanted to put him down. And as you can see, he's alive and well and it's not dangerous. Yeah, Lyle's like a painting where the eyes follow you. All right. Now, those of you who remember the build, this is the Cosmos 2 build. The link for it is in the video notes. It was done, well, the video, the final complete all-in-one video was posted in November of 2013. So that means I had to have actually done this a couple months prior. Spectre 7734 has contributed $5 New Zealand dollars. Thank you, Spectre. I appreciate your contribution and support of the channel. Anyway, so this computer was built back in, let's just call it November 2013. It's been more than 4 years, and the customer has got his first problem. It's been running solid. Now the customer does video editing with this. They do World War II vintage plane racing he's involved with. I guess once a year in Reno, Nevada, they have these vintage, you know, you have like P-51 Mustangs and things like that. It's like an 8-mile course. It's not like the Red Bull thing. It's more like just like a race in the sky. They reach over 500 miles an hour. He films those races and he puts them up on his YouTube channel. Those are all being edited and posted here with this machine. He's recently upgraded his camera to 4K and he's finding the machine is really starting to struggle to get through that. Probably a better video card would suit him. You know, a 10 series card from NVIDIA would probably be helping him with the rendering times. But anyway, he hasn't any problems. He upgraded the RAM. He had 32 gigs of RAM the way I built it. He's added another 32, so he's at 64 gigs of RAM. And I can't remember what video card we used. I thought it was a 700 series. Now he's in a 900 series card, I believe. So he's only done those two things. All the drives are original. Everything is original, and there hasn't been any problems with the machine whatsoever. Until recently, he started to get overheating warnings and the machine started shutting itself down. And when he touched the one of the lines going to the liquid cooler, it was almost too hot to touch. I'm thinking that the pump has gone out on the liquid cooler. However, the Corsair software says the pump is moving. So I don't know if maybe fluid has gelled up or gotten clogged or blocked, or if the pump itself is starting to fail. So the first thing I need to do is replicate this problem. So let me get a monitor out. Let's get this thing turned on. And let's see how it's gonna go. Let's see, I have a monitor here somewhere. Here we go. Look at that. And then I can use DVI, because you know I like my DVI. I can hear my nephew Merrick right now. He's just shaking his head going, why? Just use HDMI. That just makes me want to use DVI even more. That's just the kind of guy I am. All right, so DVI. I'm gonna go right in there. And, oh, I'm gonna need a power cable, aren't I? So let's see, we're gonna plug the monitor in. A lot of people want to know what this monitor is. This is a Dell 2420. It's a 24-inch screen. They don't make it anymore. I don't know why people care. It's a customer of mine was getting rid of it. They asked if I could dispose of it for them. And I said, yeah, I'll throw it away. I'll recycle it. And so here it is being recycled on my desk. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not exactly sure what the story was, but they're happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. So the monitor was old when I got it, and I'm sure any modern 24-inch monitor will be better than, as good as or better than this monitor, but it's a Dell. I like Dell monitors. I like them a lot better than their computers, I'll tell you that. All right, let's see, let's get this plugged in here. We'll go from here, let's switches on, off. See, this customer knows me well. He already had everything, all the dust blown out. He's already got the switch in the off position. He knew exactly what to expect. All right, let me just get these wire ties moved over here so I don't lose them. And let me steal my keyboard and mouse dongle. We'll plug that in. All right. Let's fire her up. It's kind of hard. You gotta slide this back to find the power switch. I'm not tall enough. Yeah, that's not the first time I've ever said that. One of these turns it on. I can't see. Oh my God, it's heavy. Oh, it's right in the middle. Okay. Ugh. Let's flip the switch on. It probably is going to help. Let's open the door so we can watch it work. Let's open this and hit this button right here. There it goes. Kind of loud. All right, let's see. Let's get this thing booted up. So I've got the, if you guys didn't catch from before, I've got the new Manfrotto tripod head that I'm using now. It's almost too good for me, this tripod head. It's really designed for like a really big professional camera. So the only thing I don't like about it so far is I have to completely remove the camera to get to the battery to change it. Whereas on my other tripod head, I could get a little screwdriver wedged right between the shoe and the battery release, and I could pop the battery out. So it's not perfect. Customer did say every time they turn the computer down, after it shuts itself down, it comes up with this configuring Windows Update screen. Not exactly sure why. I'm going to stand in front of the screen momentarily so you don't see all the customer's junk and they can have a little bit of privacy. So I'm just going to go to View and Show Desktop Icons. I'll uncheck. We have some ASUS setup error here. I don't know what that's about. Monitoring temps with some Intel utility. This is the Corsair Link software, and this should give us some readings on our temps. And I'm going to grab a utility on a flash drive. like Prime 95. I think I'll grab Prime 95 and just work this thing to death in an attempt to get it to heat up as quickly as possible. And in fact, I'm going to remove the keyboard and mouse here for a moment because I see a couple of contributions have come in for the channel, and I want to give those folks a proper thank you for that. Gary Belts has contributed $20 to the channel. Thank you, Gary. Thanks for your support. Stephen Anderson has contributed $20 as well. Thank you, Stephen. Austin says, don't let that fall on you. Yeah, I'm going to try not to. Or you and me are going to be sharing that chair you're in, buddy. All right. Yeah, so the customer said, you know, it may just be a cooler, but I didn't want to mess with it. I'd rather you did it. I said, no problem, bring it over. It took both of us to lift it out of his car. It took both of us to get it on the counter. I'm afraid this may stay on my counter until he comes back over because I don't think I can move it without... I hurt my back a couple of years ago, and there's no warning. Like, it'll just do that, and then I'm down for 6 weeks. So I don't even want to risk it. Part of me is curious. I might be able to do it. It's not worth... There's no benefit if I can. In other words, I don't win anything. So if you find that the audio is out of sync, refresh your web browser. It should be in sync. You could also lower the resolution that you're watching it in. It may be too much for your bandwidth. Is that a mini fridge you're working on? No, it's my new apartment. This is going to be my studio, and then this will be the bedroom, and then it's got a 2-car garage in the back and a guest house. Let me grab a flash drive with Prime 95 on it. It's going to take me just a minute. Bear with me as I copy Prime 95 onto a little flash drive I've got here. I can't remember where I downloaded it. I think I've got it under my utilities directory on my server. Yeah, there it is. Okay, good. Copy that, and we'll put that over here. Nope. I hate it when I pick the wrong drive. There it is. All right. And now I can eject the flash drive. Bada boom, bada bing. We out. I don't know. Should I do that intro the way the kids do their intros on YouTube? There's more people in here for me to do it again. Hey guys, it's your boy Carrie coming at you. No, it doesn't. It's not good. Cracks me up. It's your boy. It's your boy coming at you. I've been watching this YouTuber. Her name's Liza Koshy, K-O-S-H-Y. Oh my God. I love this girl. She is funny, and just out there. He's having a midlife crisis. I think it's about a 3/4 life process, based on the lifespan of my family. All right. James Liebig is back and says, again, he and his daughters, Leah and Alora, say hello from Clearwater, Florida. My wife saw what appeared to be a manatee in the background of your. Where is it? Where did you get it? My wife and I spent some time in Florida. One of the things on my bucket list was to drive from Miami to Key West. I wanted to do that 7-mile bridge. I just wanted the whole driving experience. Rented a convertible, and it rained the whole time, so that was a waste of money. It rained during the drive anyway, and we stopped at Isla Morada, and we swam with the sea lions, and we swam with manta rays, and we saw these manatee. People would have these manatee mailboxes. It's just a manatee like this, and he's holding the mailbox in his hands, and it's the funniest thing we've ever seen. And they're everywhere in Florida, and we thought, you know where that would look good? Where nobody has them, like in Arizona. So, I don't have a mailbox anymore. It's all a community mailbox now. But man, I just, in Arizona, I would love one of those little manatee mailboxes. And so what you see in the background, or what your wife spotted, is this is a manatee. It's for putting your tea in there. And then his little flippers, they hang on the side of your coffee mug, or your whatever you're drinking your tea out of. And let's see if I can demonstrate it to you here. There we go. So, coffee mug, manatee. You put your manatee in like that, and there you go. They're available on Amazon. Isn't it cute? Come on. Look at them. All right. Enough of that. See how easily you distract me? Squirrel. All right. Mr. Manatee, you go back over there. Ugh. Okay. There you have it. So I hope that answers your question. Where can you get a large PC case? The regular manufacturers are trying to make smaller. Where can you get a large PC case? As far as I know, the Cosmos case is still made, and Corsair makes a, can't think of what the competition to the Cosmos is. You guys in the chat room can help me. 900D, yes, Antonio's got it. The Corsair 900D and then the Cosmos 2 are the two biggest, at least as far as like being common and easily found. Customer actually bought this directly from Cooler Master. It was sold to him as refurbished, even though it was in every aspect that he could tell brand new. So he got a really good price on it, and that may still be something for you to look into. So, how are we doing on our temps right now? I don't know why he's got Oslogic's boost speed. I think that is a waste. I don't see any. I'm already seeing 90 degrees Celsius. This is an i7 3970X CPU. i7 3970X, and it's already at 90 degrees idle. So something isn't right. This hose right here, so this line, the line on top is cool. This must be the return line. This one here is pretty warm, and we haven't even done anything yet. We haven't, if I run Prime 95 or something like that and really push the CPU, obviously we should be able to see some pretty serious temperature spike to test our cooling. And I just went back to my office to get my infrared thermal temperature sensor. That line, this line right here, oh, why? It's pretty warm. I'm reading about 110, between 110 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit on that line. And what's interesting, I'm only about 80 I'm in the 80 degree range down here. Oh, it's bumping up around 95. We come up to the video card. Video card's at like 82. RAM is sitting at about 98 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to go to where all the heat spreaders are, or heat sinks. That's 117. That's a little scary given that we haven't done anything. It's just idling at that. So that's 122 degrees Fahrenheit is 50 degrees Celsius. Is that right? I'll take your word for it. Don't get me wrong, it's not a dangerous temperature. I'm just curious why it's so hot. I would expect this to be cooler than this because it's just not doing anything. The system's just sitting idle. Let's run Prime 95 and watch this thing have a heart attack. I guess I need my keyboard and my mouse back. I'm going to plug that in over here. And come on now, there we go. Prime 95. Close that. All right, so this is going to work all the cores. How many cores we have running here? 12, it looks like. 12 cores, yeah. And let's watch these temps and see what happens. Sorry, I'm standing. You can't see through me, obviously. My mother told me that many times when I would get between her and the television set. She said, and I quote, "You make a better door than a window." Chris Walls wants to know, is there a utility to monitor the system that you recommend? I like HW Monitor, or check with your motherboard manufacturer. Sometimes they have utilities, Asus and Gigabyte do, that are designed to read their temperature sensors. These freeware and open source ones like HW Monitor, they may not be accurate depending on how your motherboard manufacturer implemented their temperature sensors. However, it should at least get you in the ballpark. And I don't know, what do you guys like out there? Tell me in the chat, what temperature sensor do you like? And preferably that you recommend something freeware or from your motherboard manufacturer. Somebody likes to use NZXT CAM software. Yeah, sure. When with your liquid cooler, such as Corsair's H-Link, there's the option of monitoring your temperatures through the software that comes with your liquid cooler in many cases. So good idea there. Somebody else likes to use Speccy. Someone else likes HW Monitor. Someone uses MSI Command Center to monitor their temps. Somebody said Speccy always shows the wrong numbers. Someone else likes CAM. Somebody else likes CPU-Z. CPU-Z I didn't think monitors temps. It gives me all the specs. I'm talking about monitoring temps. What was your failure rate experience with factory sealed CPU water coolers? This will be the first one. If it's bad, this will be the first one. Core Temp, HW Info, Speed Fan. Yeah, Speed Fan is another one I use. You know who would be a good source of information for this would be Brytech, Brytech09. Hey Brytech, welcome into the channel. Brytech, what freeware utility would you recommend for monitoring temperatures? I like HW Monitor. Some people mention Speccy, HW Info, NZXT CAM software for the cooler. Corsair's Link software. Core Temp is another one. Oh, look at there, Citizen X. Citizen X has joined us. Hey, Citizen X. How are we doing on our temps right now? Still looks okay. We'll just continue to let it run. Just doesn't really feel any hotter. I don't know. This is one of the difficult problems sometimes in diagnostics, is to replicate what the customer's issue is. MSI Afterburner they use for monitoring temps. Core Temp, ADA 64. I forgot all about ADA. Do you think the water pump is probably dead? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the pump itself may not be dead, but is not operating efficiently anymore. Someone else likes ADA 64 but thinks it's just a little too bulky to use. So I'm curious, Brytech, what do you use to monitor system temperatures? It must be some favorite freeware or open source utility or motherboard manufacturer utility that you rely on. Being a fellow technician who joins me in the trenches of computer repair. Oh, he said he uses the CAM software. Sorry, Brytech, I didn't see your response. Now, do you have to have an NZXT cooler to use the CAM software, or will it run without it? Do you have any spare air coolers? It could be worth a shot changing it out for the liquid cooler. I talked to the owner about an air cooler. He really wants to stick with the liquid cooler. He just seems to think that if we go with the the Kraken X62, he wishes he had a case window to display it. Give me my hacksaw. They're reporting to me that NZXT's CAM software will run without an NZXT cooler. So apparently anybody here can go and download the CAM software for free and run it on your system. And it'll read the temps for you. That's good to know. Ryzen has its own monitoring software for temps and CPU speed. I did not know that. Brytech says, I use ADA 64 Engineer for work on testing customer machines officially. But for his personal use, he uses the CAM software. All right, good to know, good to know. I think I want to change this. Let me go get another utility. I don't think it's going to let me disconnect, is it? Because I ran the file from the flash drive. That means I got to go get another flash drive. Because I'm an idiot and I didn't put both files on the one flash drive because I'm in such a hurry. So give me just a minute here, guys. Let's see. I'm going to use HW monitor. Let's copy that and put it over to the flash drive. It's your boy Carrie coming at you. I'm just amusing myself. Never mind. It's your boy Carrie coming at you. There we go. Now let's see if I can bring that up. Let's just, you know what, I'm just going to run it from the flash drive. I know why I'm running it from the flash drive. It's because I've got all the desktop icons hidden. If I copy it to the desktop, I won't be able to find it. So we'll just leave it on the flash drive. All right, let's see what kind of temps we're going to run now. It looks like we're at 100% core use. We're hitting 90 degrees Celsius, 91. That's awfully close to 100. When it hits 100, that's when we start seeing cores start to shut down, performance starts to go down, and if it continues to climb, the system will shut itself off to protect itself. Brytech wants to know if it's under load. Yeah, right now, Brian, I am running Prime 95. So pedal to the metal, full out, full bore, as hard as it can work. So we're okay if it stays there, if it doesn't get any higher than that, but it doesn't have a lot of overhead when it's running at 91 degrees Celsius. It's not overclocked either, so this is just foot to the floor, solid. And here's the other problem, it doesn't do it all the time. Draw Content says, hey Carrie, I'm still using the computer I built following your tutorial in 2013. Well, you obviously did a good job making it. And you know how to follow instructions. That's awesome. Now you understand why I'm telling everybody, right? Now you totally understand why I'm like, you really need to build your own. Not only is it fun, it'll be the best computer you ever owned. Close the door and see if that makes a major difference. All right, well, you guys, that's true. If we want to do an accurate temperature test, the door needs to be closed. Actually, it may actually run cooler with the door closed, with the airflow now not being interrupted. So we'll just go ahead and let that run. Hey Brian, you like my new house? Prime 95 burns your CPU like crazy. It's considered dangerous. Ooh, I'm gonna have to date Prime 95. Does the customer have a heater on in the house? In Arizona? I doubt it, unless he's a lizard. Last I checked, he was not a lizard person. Your house needs more beige. This case has its own zip code. Can you build a time machine out of that computer? You know, that's an interesting question, because back here on the microwave, I have the key component in, as everybody knows, to time travel, and that is the flux capacitor. So if there's a way that I can mount the flux capacitor into the case, I might be able to actually go back in time or go back to the future. However, if you're not into time travel, you can always just go to an alternate universe. Never mind. Save that for another day. You did not know I was a nerd. Are you kidding me? Look at me. If this is not the face of a nerd, I don't know what is. Pump could be going bad. Do you have an air cooler to chuck on to test? Brian, I have a Kraken X62 liquid cooler that I think would fit really well in this case, and I'm considering switching it out. I think it would be beneficial to the customer. Even if that cooler has no problems, it'll still cool the computer better. And of course, then we'd get rid of the H-Link software from Corsair, or iLink, whatever they call it. I always confuse because the Corsair is like the H100i cooler, and I think it's the iLink, and an NZXT has the CAM software. I'm worried about the amount of Coke you drink. Coca-Cola doesn't have a problem with the amount of Coke I drink. When you say Chuck, you need a British accent. It's not very British. A word the British like to use that I've been using a lot is faff. F-A-F-F. It just means nonsense. It's like, I had to go to the bank and fill out all these forms and all that faff. I love that word. I'm gonna try and start a trend. I want to see Americans start using it. Anna Rita said, Casey is a big boy, so he can drink all the Coke he desires. I don't know who Casey is. My name is Carrie, and it's nice to meet you, though. We usually say faff about. That's it. Hashtag faff. We all need to start using the word faff. It's a thing. We're making it a thing. I am British and I don't say faff. Well, you should start. My sister has a British friend named Heather, and she just calls her the way that they say it, which is Eva. They take H-E-A-T-H-E-R and turn it to E-V-A. Eva. Peter Rademan says, hello from Montenegro. Stop faffing around. That's today's word of the day, faff. Not only am I here to help educate you on computer building, upgrading, and diagnostics and repair, but to expand your vocabulary to other cultures so that you may seem sophisticated to the people around you who don't know you better. Okay, first of all, a lot of people in the chat. We got 808 people watching live. Hello. Hello to Bogdan in Romania. Hello to Edward in Essex. Hello to Gold Bullets from Kosovo. I'm still waiting for an Albanian to join us. Do we have any Albanians in the house? Remember, this means yes in Albania. It's a fact. Hello, Sweden is greeting you. Hello, Sweden and Russia. I don't think Russia's watching us. Hello from Illinois and Canada, Romania, England, Germany, Sweden, Pennsylvania, Rochester, New York, Maryland, Idaho, New York, Slovakia, Virginia, Utah, Oklahoma, Belfast, Greece, Sweden, Iowa, Ohio, Bulgaria, Netherlands, Gilbert, Arizona, Texas, Portugal, Arizona, Germany, Sweden, Spokane, Slovakia, Nevada, Minnesota, South Carolina, New Hampshire, New Zealand, Uruguay, Kansas, Poland, Spain, Italy, Finland, Wyoming, Las Vegas, Argentina, Singapore, Pittsburgh, Carolina, and Ben just wants to say Albania. All right. Relax, everybody. Relax. Settle. 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 Thank you. All right, how are we doing on our temps? We're still pretty well not moved. We're still at 91 max temps. I'm seeing a range of 88 to 91 Celsius, centigrade, whichever you want to call it. So closing the door hasn't made a difference one way or the other. I wouldn't expect that it would much with a liquid cooler. It's a liquid cooler. It's airflows going through the radiator, whether the door is open or closed. But be that as it may, you really do, when you do test temperatures, you want to test it as you would run the system normally. Sometimes systems run cooler with the side panels off, but more often they actually run hotter with the side panels off if your airflow is correct, because the air should be coming in the front and going out the back. And with the door being open or the side panel removed, then you don't have that controlled airflow. And as a result, you'll have air just kind of not moving. It's just staying stagnant, and that can cause a rise in temperatures if you're wondering why that happens. Unless, of course, you put a big fan outside blowing over it or something, or a big ceiling fan blowing down on it. What is my ambient air temperature? It's probably 75 degrees Fahrenheit. But the GPU is not under load. That is correct, the GPU. I'm not quite sure what I would run the GPU. I guess I could run 3D Mark or something like that. What would you guys recommend I run? Something freeware that I can download to push the GPU. Will we just go to sleep here? Yeah, everything's good there. Oh, the Heaven benchmark? That's a big download, though. I want your job. Well, get to work. I'm not stopping anybody from doing my job. You're welcome to do my work for me. I don't mind one bit. Just download it and keep it on a USB stick. That way you can be running an outdated version that doesn't work quite right or report the right temps. You should always download freeware software only when you need it. You should not store it, because you will ultimately end up using an old, outdated version, which can cause all kinds of problems. I never recommend storing stuff like that. The internet is your storage. There's no reason to be old school and start hoarding your own stuff. The internet will hoard it for you. And it'll always be up to date and accurate. I'm looking for another flash drive I can use for the Heaven benchmark. I know I've used it before. I wasn't that impressed with it, to be honest, but everybody seems to like it. That's from the website is benchmark.unigen.com/heaven. It's a free download. It's 247 megs of a download. So I'll go ahead and start that. It's going to take a few minutes to download, and I still have to find a flash drive, which I have here somewhere. I actually have a ton of flash drives. I'm just trying to find one that's not 10 years old. You know what, I'll use this one. Looks like it's going to need about 10 minutes to download that, which seems like an awfully long time. It's not, the slowness isn't on my side, it's on their server. So I'll download Heaven. We're going to run that in a minute. So the problem is, the customer says the machine started beeping. I guess it was a temperature alert. And that when he touched one of the lines, one of the hoses going to the pump, that it was almost too hot to touch. It was reading really high temps. He's not quite sure what's going on with it. Then when the machine shuts itself off, he turns it back on and it says Windows is finishing installing updates every single time. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, other than, when you shut a computer off improperly, it's hard to say exactly what kind of damage that can cause. Sometimes Windows won't even boot at all, especially in the old days. You definitely did not want to shut a computer off well in Windows. And Microsoft has done a good job of recovering from those unexpected shutdowns. I haven't done anything to the system at this point. It's basically, customer brought it over, we put it up on the counter here, I've plugged it in, I turned it on, I started the web stream, the live stream, and you're seeing it just what I'm seeing. So I haven't modified or changed, I don't know, I haven't checked thermal compound, I haven't done anything. My concern is that that the pump may be failing. And because the all-in-one cooler is between 4 and 5 years old, I mean, when you consider when it was manufactured, you know, how much time went by before it was at the retailer and I bought it and it was, you know, the customer bought it, and there could have been many months between the time it was manufactured before the customer actually had it in their possession. So the cooler could be 5 years old. And if the cooler's 5 years old and it's a liquid cooler, he typically runs the system 24/7. Based on my advice, I suggested he keep the system running 24/7, and he does and has been for the last, well, since I built it in November of 2013. And like I said, this is the very first problem he's ever had with it. I have no doubt that if he shuts it off and turns it on every day, he would have had at least a mechanical drive failure by now. But all those mechanical drives he's got in there are all the same ones I put in all those years ago. Doesn't running the computer all the time run the electric bill up really high? No, it costs somewhere around a nickel, maybe 10 cents a day to run a computer full time. It's your monitor that eats up all the power. So you just have it put the monitor to sleep. Computer barely uses any power at all. Unless it's flat out, you know, hardcore like Prime 95, like what we're doing now. But if it's not doing anything, it'd be like if you have a muscle car that gets 13 miles to the gallon, and you put your pedal to the metal full bore, well, you run out of gas in a couple of hours. But if you let it idle, it might idle for 4 days before it runs out of gas. It's only using as much gas as it needs. And likewise, the computer only uses as much power as it needs. So if he was running something pushing, like if he was rendering video 24/7, yeah, he'd see it on his electric bill. But just idle, it's practically insignificant. I don't recommend leaving laptops on 24/7 or any, these external USB hard drives, because they don't have effective cooling. They're not designed to be on 24/7 and could create a heat issue. Also, they're more difficult to blow the dust and debris out of laptops and such. Brytech says I should download Ada64. It's been a long, long time since I've used Ada64. I don't even know if I'll recognize it, but since we're grabbing heaven, let's grab Ada64 too. Anything that can help replicate what the customer is describing. The download is only 128 megs downloaded so far. We're only halfway there. Let's grab Ada64. Oh, it's been a long, long time since I've seen this software. Let's see, for power users who want to know everything. Ada64. Ada64 turns 20 years old in June of 2015. It was 20 years old. Let's see. Ada64 for Android and for iOS. Ada64 Engineer trial version. I guess they don't have a free version. Ada64 Extreme. Let's do the portable version. It's only 50 megs. I don't know, because it's the free version, if all of the bells, whistles, and features are going to be available to push the system or not. But it's either way, it's going to be about 5 more minutes and we'll have them both. Temperatures are still pretty much locked in between 88 and 91 degrees centigrade. Not really seeing any difference. And since this isn't making any difference, I want to open it up because it's just more interesting for the video, you know, because you guys are watching. You know, this is in a pull configuration. And we should be able to get this, take the top off. I was going to take the top off. I thought this was family friendly. Are the fans up there turning? Oh, I can't see. We all can't be tall like Brytech. Yeah, fans are definitely in the pull configuration. And they're working. Man, I wish I had this Lazy Susan turntable when I was building this computer. I mean, that just makes life so much easier having that turntable. All right. We're just going to continue to let it run. And let me check on my downloads. They should just about be done by now. Nope, still a few moments left. Looks like another minute or so before I have all that faff. Okay. Whoa. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, so I've got ADA 64. Let's copy that to the flash drive. And then about 30 seconds left on heaven. 30 seconds of heaven. Almost there, guys. Almost there. Just finished the download, so let me copy that over to the flash drive. There we go. And eject the flash drive. Very good. Very good, very good. All right. Now with that done, you know, I still have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still have room for 7 more flash drives, so keep plugging them in. Let's see. He wants to scan my flash drive for errors. I'll let it. Could check to see if there's a new BIOS update. This is a P9X79 Pro. P9X79 Pro. So while that's scanning, let me check P9X79 Pro. I have to keep saying it to myself so I don't forget. P9X79 Pro. And we'll go to the support side. Driver and tools. BIOS and firmware. Well, the latest BIOS is a beta. I don't really want to put a beta BIOS on. The last non-beta BIOS version is 4701, and we'll just have to see what version we've got, because that's back from June 2014, which is still a good year after I built it, so it may not have it. I don't know. We'll have to check. Okay, no problems were found with my flash drive. That's good. Let's install Heaven. And let's turn off Prime 95 because it's just not doing it for me. So we'll have that here loaded up in a second. Normally, if this was just a regular customer, I would be checking it for viruses and malware, but this guy, he's a technical guy. I still should check it, but it's just not the first thing on my list, because I would be surprised if I found anything, and so I'm just kind of looking for you know, just repeating the behavior that the customer described. Now, where did the Heaven software install to? Unit engine, there it is. Heaven benchmark 4.0. English custom, tessellation, multi-monitor, blah, blah, blah. Just hit run. Toggle menu is escape. Tessellation toggle is F3, wireframe F2, camera mode F4. Run benchmark is F9. Well, presumably we're using run benchmark already, so let's see what it does. So here we go, running the Heaven benchmark. In fact, while that's running, I'm going to steal my keyboard and mouse out of here, go back to the streamer so I can use it to talk to you guys in chat. Ben DeCure has contributed $20 to the channel. He says, hey, Kerry, thanks for the live stream. Well, thank you, Ben. Thanks for your contribution. Is the pump running? Well, it's not hot. Oh, that's a fan. Yeah, this clearly the line on the bottom is the water, the liquid coming out and going into the radiator because it's really hot. And then this other line is cool, so that means that's the liquid, obviously going all the way around through the radiator being cooled down. It is warm. I can't really tell if the pump is running. Can't really tell. Don't know. Nicholas Vabel has contributed, that went by too quick. 10 Danish kroner. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you for your contribution. Perhaps the fluid is gone. Yeah, it's possible. That Dell monitor has good clear graph. I don't know. I don't think it's anything special, to be honest. It just feels like a regular old monitor to me. I like my Asus IPS screen. I'm a little spoiled. You need an infrared thermometer. You mean like one of these? What do I need one of these for? Carrie, maybe the fluid needs checking. You cannot check the fluid in an all-in-one cooler. They are factory sealed. There is no way to maintain them. There's no maintenance. It works, or you throw it away and you buy another one. That is all there is. You need to press F9 for the benchmark to run. Oh, is it just in demo mode? I don't know. I think it's running the benchmark. It's giving me frames per second right here. Temperature says 67 degrees. All right, let's just F9 and see what it does. Oh, I still have the keyboard and mouse linked up over here. I am a giddy goat. All right. Let's do F9. Now it says benchmarking. Is that what you wanted? There we go. We'll let it benchmark. I'm going to let this run. I'm going to go off camera for a minute and cut my audio and let this run and come back in a minute. You guys can be entertained by the screen. So excuse me for just a minute. All right, looks like the test has finished. I was returning a phone call, and that is done. That one I don't have to worry about. It's good. Okay. So our benchmark score here looks to be about, let's see, 120 frames per second. 3032 is the score. That's, remember, the system's from 2013. Remember that. Got our specs. It's a GeForce GTX 780 Ti. Core i7-3970X at 3.5 gigahertz. 1920 by 1080. And let's quit. And what's our temps now? Still right in that 91 degrees centigrade level. So let me try Ada 64. I know that's in here somewhere. There's Ada 64. This product is not free. Benchmark. Which benchmark would you guys like me to run? Stability test. Where's that? I don't see stability test listed. Where do I find stability test? Tools? Nope. Report? Nope. Favorites? Nope. Oh, there it is. System stability test. It is under tools. Okay, here we go. Stability test started. Ooh, whoa. Everything just peeked out here. See that? Where'd it go? Did I close it? Didn't think I closed it. Apparently I did close it. Try again. Tools, system stability test, stress the GPU, start. Oh, I closed the window behind it. That shuts the whole program down. Won't do that again. I just wanted to see my temps. Can we just move some of this? Can we just move it? Okay, it's running. You don't want me to do the RAM test, Brian? You only want the GPU and the CPU tests? We don't want to stress the... All right, let's hit stop. We won't do the stress cache or the FPU, just CPU and GPU. There we go. All right, stress CPU, stress GPU, that's what you want, Brian? Could also give it a try on OCCT CPU stress test. That one I've never heard of. Okay, let me get out of the way. You guys can see the screen. We'll let that test run for a little bit. They want me to close the case door again. All right, let's close it. My phone says it's 77 degrees Fahrenheit outside. It's just too hot. It's just too hot for winter. This is January. Yeah, the front door has magnets on it, so if you slide it up, it locks in. And what I did is I slid it up. I decided it didn't look very good, so I just gave it a little tap, and then it just sort of lowers itself. It didn't do it on its own. I initiated it. See? Check out that action. Brytech, does this test stop on its own or does it run indefinitely? Still looking at 91 degrees. It hasn't gone above 91 degrees. Unfortunately though, that 9 degree of overhead before it hits 100 and starts throttling, it'll probably start throttling at 99. I'm not comfortable with that. I would be okay if it was in the 80s being maxed out like this, but being in the low 90s just doesn't leave a whole lot of room for error. So while we're waiting, Brian says it's going to run until I stop it. All right, Brian, you let me know when you think enough is enough, all right? And we'll just let it run until I hear back from you. Did you see the SpaceX launch last night? No, it did not launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base. I would only see it if it launched from Vandenberg. Brian says let it run a good 15 minutes. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here, so about 4:15, we'll check it out. I'm staring at the chat right now, so if you have any comments or questions, throw those in the chat. I'll do my best to address it. The CPU this computer has is a Core i7 30, what is it, 3970X, something like that. I mentioned it twice already, and it's, if you look in the video notes, the original video of me building this in 2013 has all the individual hardware specs. Core i7 3970X. What are my favorite pizza toppings? pepperoni, mushroom, and green pepper. And maybe crushed red pepper. Will you replace the cooler with another all-in-one? Yes, I will replace it with a Kraken X62. Is the stock CPU cooler okay for an i5 8400? Yes, any i5. Blazo Veljevic says, hello from Montenegro. Carrie, what video card would you recommend for a powerful gaming rig? Depends on what you think is powerful and what you think is gaming. Carrie, you don't think the guy took the pump off and disturbed the compound? The gentleman who owns this computer actually works for Intel. And the only thing he has ever done to this system is he added more RAM and he changed the graphics card out. That's what he told me. I have no reason not to believe him. That doesn't mean that the reseating the water pump wouldn't be beneficial, or removing the old thermal compound and replacing it wouldn't be beneficial. I don't know. I just know that the X62 will be a better cooler than this one. But then there's 4 years of evolution and development since that cooler came out, so it's just sort of expected that today's coolers will be better, more efficient. The most common video card used in gaming, according to Steam, is the 1060. That is the absolute most common graphics card used by users of Steam. Bill Etherland says he's got to leave. Oh, well, bummer. Glad you stopped in just the same, Bill. Of course, always happy to see you. Thanks for joining in. Big Guy 808 State says, hello from Hawaii. Where does he store the computer? He stores it underneath his desk. Mark in Alberta, California says hello. Want to let it run just a little bit longer. Out of curiosity, I would like to replace the thermal compound just to see. I don't think it's going to make more than a few degrees difference, but once again, when you're working as a computer technician, you really don't get the benefit of assuming what should or shouldn't be. You actually have to test it. And if it turns out that you were right, that's all well and good. But if it turns out you were wrong, you understand then why I tell you can't say, well, it shouldn't be this because of that. Or you'll end up never fixing problems, or you'll have problems you just seemingly can't fix. Because until you individually test each item, you can't, for example, throw a voltmeter on a power supply and go, well, it's putting out 12 volts. It's just not, it's not enough. You have to put a load on the power supply to actually test it. And the way that this customer described these errors sounds to me like he's having an issue with the pump or an issue with the power supply. And it's a Seasonic power supply. It's a really good power supply. It's the original one I put in for over 4 years ago. And so I'm not going to say it's not the power supply, but it won't be one of the first things I check. I will check other things. And if I still can't find it, I will eventually have to check the power supply. So still looking at a maximum temp of 91. It actually hits 91 and it stops. I can't help but wonder, maybe it's throttling here. Maybe that's why it won't go any hotter than 91, is it's already starting to throttle. That's my guess. So let's shut all of this down. Let's bring it all down. Hit stop, close, 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 and shut down. Smells hot. I know that sounds funny to say. It smells hot, but it does. It's got the smell of something hot. I don't know how else to phrase it. It doesn't smell like anything's burning, but you can smell the heat. You're smelling silicone, hot silicone. All right, power's off. Let's make sure we got the power drained. And let's get this pump removed. Boy, it's really warm here. Really, really warm. Let's take that off. I think this piece comes off. Doesn't it? Yes, it does. And let's get a screwdriver out. Let's see what it looks like under here. Wow, even the thumb screws are hot. Well, it's interesting. There's almost no thermal compound on the CPU. And the thermal compound that's on here, there doesn't seem to be much of it on there. So let's get that wiped off. It's always easier to pull a heatsink off of a CPU when the system's still warm like this, because the thermal compound, it dries up. And when it gets hot, it becomes a little bit more viscous. This stuff is, even at this temperature, I'm still having to scrape it off. This should be like more like paint. It should be kind of fluid. It shouldn't be like that. Ooh, wow. Wow, holy smokes, that's hot. I gotta see how hot that is. There's no way it's only 90 degrees Fahrenheit. No way. That is freaking hot. It feels like it's 120, 130 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't think this thermal temperature sensor's not reading right. All right, let's get this thermal compound off. It's definitely all dried up, you know, after 5 years, 4 years, whatever it's been. It almost just doesn't look like it's making good contact with the CPU, to be honest. If I were to criticize my own work, CPU is just too darn clean, in my opinion. It should have a lot more thermal compound left over on it. Shouldn't come off that clean. All right. Get some Q-tips and rubbing alcohol here, and let's get this cleaned up. That thermal compound does not want to come off even with the rubbing alcohol. You got to scrape it. That's not good. Where's Brian when I need him? Come here, Muscles. Okay, I think that's going to pretty much do it. You can see the goop. Give it one more wipe down here. Always make sure you get the edges. And when you wipe it down, go in both directions. You don't need to dry it off. The rubbing alcohol will evaporate, so just give it a minute to evaporate off. We got a Cooler Master case, so let's use some Cooler Master thermal compound. That probably came with a Hyper 212 Evo if I had to guess. Yeah, let's just put some goop here and over here, maybe a little over here. Just used up this, what's left in this tube. Just use it all. I don't think there's anything else left in there. Then I'm going to grab a piece of tape, put it on the end of my finger, and just paint it. Paint it right on there. I guarantee the CPU will never look that clean again, or at least not next time. It'll have to be cleaned off next time for sure. When I'm done with it, nice even coating across the entire surface, just like a good paint job, with a nice thick coat of paint. That looks pretty good. And I'm done with that. I can go. And this can get out of my way. I'll set it back here. All right, let's see how we do now. It's definitely making contact with the top of the CPU. I can feel it. Tighten these down in opposite corners, but I'm only getting them all started right now. I want to make sure that I can still feel it making contact with the top of the CPU. Let's see, how does it feel? Yeah, it feels good. Looks good, feels good. It is good. Now we're going to tighten it down. Once again, opposite corners. And I've learned on these Corsairs, it's pretty easy to break these thumb screws. Well, the standoffs, I can just break these standoffs right in half from over tightening. So you want these to be tight, but you can't. If you over tighten it, then you snap the standoff in half, it won't be very tight anymore. All right, let's put this cable back on. It went up here somewhere, I can't see. Need a flashlight. Goes. This, I believe, went down here on the side, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it goes right there. Flip the switch back on, turn the system back on. See if it runs any cooler. Let's boot it up, see what she does. So far, so good. Okay, and let's bring up, let's see, go to my flash drive again, bring up HW monitor, we'll take a look at what our temps are. Yeah, we're still sitting at 79 Celsius, just idling. It's just too high. So the thermal compound has made absolutely zero difference. Yeah, maybe I'm just being too quick. It is dropping now. We're at 74. Let's go back to that utility. What were we using? A to 64. Let's run A to 64 again. Tools, system stability test, CPU and GPU, and start. All right, let's see what it does. I think if it's hitting 91, it's gonna stop at 91. I believe it's throttling at 195 degrees Fahrenheit because I would expect it to hit 92, and it's too coincidental to see all the cores hit 91 and not go past it. And I don't know what happened here, just blanked out. We're already back to 89 and 90 that quickly. So I've got to think that we're definitely having a cooling issue here with the liquid cooler. Is the radiator hot? No, radiator's not hot. But this line is hot. This line is not. It may just be the pump's not moving very well, or that the fluid is gotten low. Only two things I can think of. Okay, well, we're already hitting 90, 89, 89, 88, 91, 90. That's pretty much maxed. So let's go ahead and put a stop to this test. And let's shut her back down. Oops. Exit. And shut down. And let's take this off and replace it. This line is really, really hot. Really hot. This line right here. I don't think I have a socket 2011 air cooler that I could use. I think everything I've got is liquid cooling. So I might just jump right to the X62. Since nothing I've got will be that good anyway, right? Let me see. Yeah. Yep. Let's do the X62. So deja vu, we're going to do all this again. That comes off. That comes off. Make sure that's off. Okay. And come around the other side here. Disconnect power. Pull that through. That's for our fans. I can go out there. I got enough thermal compound down there for the next application. How am I going to get that radiator out? I think I'm going to need to stand on something. Let's see. This will be a great view for you guys. Let's see here. Okay. There's our old cooler. Still hot. Some wires up here that have to come out. This is the little piece that went in the pump. We'll put that back. And then the two fans can come off. There's one, and there's the other one. Okay, and that can all go together. Now, get out the X62 here. Let's just get rid of all this stuff. I don't want to reuse any of this. Oh, my hands are filthy. Now my preference is a push configuration. Just don't know if this case, if it'll make more sense to put the radiator on the outside, the fans on the inside. And there had to be a reason why I did it that way at the time. I'll be darned if I can remember what it was. I've had a struggle finding cases and motherboards where this Kraken X62 will fit. I think I'm going to be okay on this build. But then I thought I would be okay on the other 4 times I tried to install it, so. Place your bets. That's right, this already has a back plate. I don't need to use one. I forgot. But these standoffs have to come off. All right, so now, oops. Now I've got the Corsair liquid cooler completely removed. And then let's go back to the X62 and take a look at the standoffs in this bag, which theoretically are the same, but I just wanted to keep everything exactly as though there wasn't another cooler we were using, you know, just the way factory intends. It looks like it uses the same USB cable. We're not going to use the back plate. That's our fan header. The back plate, we don't need any of that. These standoffs, these are the standoffs we need right here. These standoffs have a shorter end and a longer end. The short end goes into the socket 2011 frame. So we'll make sure we get that installed. I seriously think I'm going to leave that liquid compound on there. It's pretty well, really well covered still. And rather than clean it and reapply it again, just as you've already seen firsthand, it didn't really. I'm so pessimistic. All right. The stream is, I don't know what's going on with the stream there. It's, I always just take a paper towel and start with that, and then I get my Q-tip and rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and clean up the residue with that so we have a nice clean surface. This way. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. So my question then is how I can mount this. If we have it coming down like so, could we mount it on top? That's my question. Not going in that way. Well, I think I know why I mounted it that way then. It can go in this one. But it won't line up, so that's not going to work. Maybe why I mounted the radiator on the inside. Can I jam it in this way? Nope. Well, I guess I know why those fans were on a pull configuration. The mystery has been solved. It's got to go in this way. Okay. This should be an interesting challenge. Stay. All right. Thumb screws. These So my fan screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and then the fans. I want these facing out, right? Because this is the side air comes out of, the side where it has the frame supports. So that's going to go on the top like this. And it'll pull air in and blow it out the top, just like the other one was. Again, it's not my first choice, but to modify it so that the radiator can fit on the top with the fans on the bottom, or to add the fans to the bottom, which I could do also, maybe. Is there enough room? No, it's not really enough room. The heatsink gets in the way. Okay, let's take one of these and my manual screwdriver, which is over here. And here's where it should get interesting. All right, so I'm gonna have to climb back up on the chair. Let's see what happens. If I don't fall down and break my neck. That should give me a lot of views though, right? First thing I need to verify that this radiator's mounting points are going to line up with the case. There's one. Uh-oh, this is not a good start. Ah, there we go. There we go. Yay. Found a case that'll fit this cooler. That's something to celebrate. All right, there's 2 screws with that one fan. Let's get the rest of the screws in there. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's nice and snug. That's one fan on. I'm going to take the wire tie off of the fan power cable, and we're going to run that out through this hole on top towards the back. Right through there. Now, before I mount the second fan, I want to make sure I can get that block on without any obstructions, because that has burned me countless times in the past. Okay. In theory, I should be able to remove this plastic cover that exposes the thermal compound. I should be able to reuse this USB. You know what, I'm not going to put it on yet. Should be able to line this up, and it should fit without hitting any RAM. I think we got a winner here. Just want to make sure that's flush against the CPU. Feels good. All right, that one's tight. That one's tight. That one is tight. And that one is tight. We'll go one more time around. Yep. 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 And yes. Okay, I think I can reuse the same USB. It should be a standard. Does it go the other way? There it is. Then I can put that other fan on. Where's the other fan? Remember, I want the frame being exposed on the top. Well, that's not good, Carrie. What I was saying was, I want the frame facing the top, and if this fan makes noise, I'll know why. I got extras. For just such an occasion. Never had to stand on a chair to work on a computer before. And you can all say you were there to see it. All right, let's tighten them down. Got all 4 screws started. This is a bigger radiator, it's taller. The other one was 240, this is 280, so it's a little bit bigger. But if it wouldn't fit in this case, then you know you're in trouble. And then we'll run this fan power cable down through there. Fight with the cables a little bit. Okay. Did you get enough looking at my butt? It can go over there, and this can go over there. And there should be a cable I need for hooking the fans up. That's the USB cable. Where is the fan? Oh, it's right here. This is going to be pretty much the same setup as the other one was, in that we're going to give it a SATA power cable. And thankfully, I don't have to redo the cable management to do this. That it follows the same sort of form and function. Let's close this so I can come around without... This would be a good way to knock my monitor on the floor. Just keep that going. It'd be funny if it was somebody else's. but it's mine, so it's not funny. We always want to use the first two connectors on the cable, I believe. I think it's this one and this one are the two connectors we want to use. Doesn't matter which fan you plug into which connector. Use those first two first. And the last two would be if we wanted to add two more fans for a push-pull configuration. And then this plugs in into the pump. And this plugs in over here to the power. SATA power right here. Good, good. Bring this back around, open this back up. This is going to plug in to the CPU fan header so it can monitor. One of these is probably for a pump. It's probably labeled for a pump. Let's take a quick look-see. Oh, it's not written on the board. Rats. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna use one. I don't care. Let's use that one right there. I don't even remember where I pulled it from. That says chassis fan, so that one's labeled. Why aren't these two labeled? Oh, there it is, CPU optional and CPU. All right, I thought maybe it would have an all-in-one pump header. That says chassis fan 1. Probably the optional one is the one we would use, but that's all right. It's designed to feed the BIOS information to think it's a fan, so we don't have to use the all-in-one header. And then this is a piece of plastic that can come off. And that's it. That was the smoothest install of an X62 ever. You know, when you have an experience like that, you think, man, I want to use that cooler more often. And then you try and you find out the hard way on how many motherboards it's not compatible with and how many cases it's not compatible with. So be very careful if you're going to order that X62, because you need a case and a motherboard that can accommodate the size of that beast. All right, here we go. Here we go. Did I turn the switch back on? Hello. There we go. Logo's spinning. Let me make sure my fans are spinning up here. The fans, they are a-turning. And apparently I did not break the fan when I dropped it. That's always a good thing. And all of this is trash. All these spare parts can go in here. Whoa, it's getting away. We got a runner. Gotcha. Parts is parts. Recognizes a new USB device. That's going to be the pump. Why am I missing my... Did I put my thumb screw in here? Yeah, the Corsair Link software isn't going to have a Corsair cooler anymore. I guess we can take that off. Yeah, that doesn't go in there. That goes to the top. Glad I thought about that. now rather than later. And these are brackets for AMD and other Intel CPU compatibility that we don't need. And then the extra screws again if you want to add more fans. It would be a tight fit. We could do it, but it would be a tight fit. Let's see what kind of temps we're looking at now. Bring up the hardware monitor. CPU core is running at 39 degrees Celsius. That's the lowest I've ever seen it. It's up to 40. Let's go ahead and run A to 64 again. Seems quieter too, doesn't it? Significantly quieter. We're at 45. Well, it was at 45 for a minute. Now it's at 41. Tools. System stability. Stress the CPU and stress the GPU and start. Okay. Obviously, I would still download the CAM software, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to make sure this is actually going to make a difference. Jack Legg in the chat says, the awful wine has departed. You fixed it. Some folks are recommending I make settings to the fan pump settings. I'm just going to leave it stock for right now for testing, just to do a apples to apples comparison. 59 degrees Celsius. Looking at max temps so far, 60, 56, 57. It's 4:56 my time. Let's call it 4:55. If we let it run 15 minutes, that'll be 5:10. We'll see what the temperatures build up to. I can turn this Corsair Link software off. Come on, can I close down? The system's so bogged down right now. What is this? Why doesn't this close? Close. Would you like to save changes? No, just exit. There we go. There we go. Max temp so far, 64 is the highest I'm seeing. Let's see if we can zoom you in. Maybe you can get a better look. You can see what I'm seeing. Let's see. How am I going to do that? Time for the new tripod to be tested. I guess I can close that and we can zoom this in. Okay, let's try that. You guys see it? So we're going to let this run for a few minutes, but we're already seeing a 16 degree centigrade difference, which is significant considering that's on a full throttle, full load. All right, let's see how we're doing now. Not much has changed. We're still, these are the max temperatures here on the right. Minimum, maximum, and current value, right? That's our minimums. Here's our maximums, and here's our current values. It's a world of difference. Much, much better. I'm just putting things away, so don't mind me. We can bring this zoom in a little bit more if you guys have trouble seeing it. Let's see if we can just zoom in on the temps themselves. So at the very top of the screen, brought it up too high. Bring it down just a little bit. There we go. Another 7 minutes. As a reminder, we were hitting 91 degrees centigrade, and I believe the CPU was starting to throttle down. So we're seeing what looks to be about a 20-degree difference so far, but let's give it some time. Let's let it go a full 15 minutes to heat up. Right now, the biggest maximum temperature we're seeing is 70 degrees Celsius. That's 21 degrees cooler. 21 degrees Celsius cooler with the NZXT. And I haven't loaded the cam software yet. I haven't scanned the system for any viruses or spyware. I haven't cleared any temp files. I haven't updated the BIOS. I'm not going to do any of that until I know that these temperature problems are solved. So far, it's looking good though. More minutes so far. 72 is the hottest it's become. So this is much, much better. that should be about 15 minutes. Actually, it's closer to, well, somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. Hottest temps, 72. Look at that. What a world of difference. Wow. Okay, so let me bring the lights back up, and we'll move the camera back. Wow, it's a lot easier with that tripod, isn't it? Okay, I think we're good here. So let's check and see what our BIOS version is. Let me stop this. Close, close, shut down. I'm down to one Kraken X62 left. You better believe I will be double and triple checking everything before I recommend another Kraken X62. For the Cosmos 2, it's great. It's really a good solution for the Cosmos 2. Lots of room for it, you know. And it's a great cooler. Does a great job cooling. Let's take that out. Let's take that one out. Let's take that one out. Let's put this one in. Told you I had a lot of flash drives. All right, let's see if we can flash this. Assuming it needs a flash. Let's find out. Just repeatedly hitting the delete key. Delete or F2 on this motherboard will get you into the BIOS. There we go. We're in BIOS 4302. Let's go to advanced mode. Let's go over to tool. So under Tool, I'm going to select the ASUS Easy Flash 2 utility. It sees all these drives, and it automatically finds what I've got on the flash drive. 4701 is the BIOS. What version did I say he had? I don't even remember anymore. Do you want to leave Easy Flash? Yes. We've got 4701. And he's running version 4302. So it's definitely a much newer version. The build date on that's 8/29/2013. So there's been quite a few BIOS updates since then. Let me zoom you in on the screen so you can see what I'm doing here when I do this flash. A lot of people get nervous about flashing the BIOS. Let's loosen this up a little bit. There we go. Oops, I just knocked it. Let me cut some lights so you can see better. I won't be able to see, but you guys will be able to see. So over to Tool, then the ASUS Easy Flash 2 utility. This is the BIOS on the flash drive right here. This is a .cap file. I select it and press enter. You want to read it? Yes. Do you really want to update the BIOS? Yes. And now we wait. I suppose the single most important thing is you just leave it alone. Don't interrupt it. If the customer wants to upgrade to Windows 10, they shouldn't have any problem. They may have had a problem trying to go to 10 with this older 4302. I didn't realize the old version was in front of me the whole time. Just me being in a hurry, you know. So 4302 is what he had. There's the date of it. This is what we're putting on. Model of the motherboard is here. I haven't had a power failure in quite some time. There was one a couple weeks ago for about a half an hour, like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I can't remember the time it happened before that. If you're really nervous about it, you could certainly get an uninterruptible power supply. Where I live, it's very, very rare for that to happen. Update's done. System's going to restart. Are the power lines underground? No, most of the power lines are on poles. Up in the air. System is off. Fans have shut off. System is turning itself back on now. Fans are restarting. I'm not touching the system at all. Just being patient and letting it cycle itself. Is this under warranty? No, this is not under warranty. I can't extend my warranty beyond what the manufacturers offer, or I'd be out of business. All right, now it wants us to run setup for some reason, so let's go into the BIOS. Let me just duck down here. Let's go to advanced mode. This looks good. Yep, I'm happy with that. Leaving all this alone. We're not doing any overclocking. We'll just keep it all in the default values. All that looks good. 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 Looks like my battery is about to run out on my camera. We'll disable the Q fan control because we've got a liquid cooler. And we just want that running full speed all the time. It shows CPU fan speed is at being at 2200 RPM, 50 degrees Celsius according to this. Fast boot is enabled. Save changes and reset. All right, I'm going to have to change the battery out on the camcorder here in a moment, and it requires I actually have to take the camera off of the tripod to do it. So the stream will be, you'll be taking an intermission here in a minute so I can switch that battery. Ooh, this is not good. Looks like I'm in a loop. Oh, there it goes. Okay. It was just doing something probably with the BIOS update that it had to sort out. And there we are. We're booted back up. So actually, I think rather than change the battery out, I think this is a good time to stop the stream. So, oh, now it's detecting new hardware because of the BIOS update. So we'll go ahead and let it restart. That's perfectly normal. That's going to wrap up this live stream. I'm losing a lot of light here. The things I've got remaining will be to just do regular, run CCleaner, clean the temp files, make sure all the Windows updates are in place, look for any newer drivers. I'll use Snappy Driver Installer. As I've demonstrated in previous videos, clean up the cable management, just a couple of cables with the new cooler, so that's no big deal. And then I can call the customer and he can help me lift it off the counter. I've got my new battery here, but I'll set it up so it'll be ready for next time. And I will see you guys again here very soon. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting to see the problem and the solution. And I'm happy to find a home for that X62. Still have one more looking for a home. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for all the contributions and the support. And I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Well, tomorrow may be busy. Maybe Thursday. If I have time tomorrow, I will do another live stream. I've got a lot of work to catch up on, so I'll share as much of it with you as possible. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Until then, bye for now.